so many times we see differing opinions, and I'll just share what I feel. I always say to my clients right in front of the children, you are the boss. This is Just Call Claudia, a podcast for right-sizing your life and demystifying your relocation. Today, I'm joined by Jessica Roote from Belmont Village Lincoln Park. I'm so excited to sit down with you. We're going to hear all about Belmont Village Lincoln Park. We're going to hear about the Belmont Village Network, which I don't have the answers for. I have very few answers from today, so I'm going to let you roll it, which is very exciting for our listeners and maybe some viewers to understand a little bit more about your community, what Belmont Village Lincoln Park offers, what the greater network of Belmont Village offers, what your role is as community director, because I've known you to wear all the hats all the time. We won't talk about the traffic this morning coming to the podcast, but we're going to talk about the attributes of Belmont Village, why so many of the wonderful individuals that we've moved into Belmont Village, how they found it, what they love about it. I want to hear about your world-class memory care facility. I want to hear about your enrichment programs. But first off, I want to hear more about your journey into senior living, because I've never met anybody that was born and raised to work in senior living, and maybe you'll dispel that myth, but can't wait to hear about it.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. Very exciting to share what Belmont has to offer and a little bit about myself. So I started in healthcare many years ago, started as a phlebotomist, worked my way through nursing. I think that being with seniors started when I started with Oak Street Health, was when I really dove into the senior community and how much I could help and be of assistance, and I really enjoyed it. I got into what I'm doing now. I just wanted a change after COVID, something different, and the word had got out that I was looking for, a new role, and friends of mine that were working in the senior living housing approached me and asked me to come. As my years of working through right here in Ravenswood at Ravenswood Supportive Living, I worked with Belmont, partnered with them all the time. We were a different model, and so we could share prospects that didn't quite fit my model at Ravenswood, and I could share those with Belmont and vice versa. And so just building that partnership, then I realized Belmont was where I wanted and needed to be. So,
and now as the community relations person for Belmont Village Lincoln Park, you're flipping that backwards, because your outreach now, and you gave me this schedule, this crazy schedule of yours today, you are calling on skilled nursing. You're calling, who else are you calling on today, so we understand the scope of your work?
Yeah, so it's really just getting out in the community and making those relationships. So skilled nursing is probably one of our top referral partners, but just letting Belmont be known and have a presence in the community, being good neighbors and partnering with the different wonderful things in Lincoln Park has to offer to bring those into the seniors, and then things come a little bit more organically. But we do work a lot with skilled nursing, the hospital systems, just a lot of the referral agencies that are out there helping individuals kind of narrow down exactly what they need, so that they don't have to do all that hard footwork and searching.
Right. So if a loved one of a senior or a senior right now is listening to this and they're wondering, how do they get an appointment with Belmont Village to come take a tour? Do you offer open house days? How does someone approach Belmont Village Lincoln Park?
Yeah, so we are always open for touring. I have a great sales team. My counterpart, Dina, like I was just telling you, we just hired our sales assistant, Lena. So great group of individuals, including all the rest of the management team that could help at any time. So tours 24, every day we can accommodate a tour. But what I really like to do is get out in the community and learn the seniors, learn their families, get to meet them a little more organically, start inviting them to events and different things that we host at Belmont so that they can see what the culture is like. There's kind of a myth, not a myth, but not a clear understanding about the model that Belmont and different assisted livings bring to the community. A lot of individuals in this age group particularly are familiar with nursing homes. And so they think I stay at home until I can't stay at home anymore. And then I'm sharing a room with somebody in a nursing home and in bed all the time. And nursing homes serve their purposes, don't get me wrong at all.
Right.
They do really great rehab for our residents that might have had a fall or a surgery and get them back to where they need to be to come. But what even the adult children don't really even understand the model that something like Belmont exists, where essentially it's free, independent living, and the help is there when and if you need it. You have your own apartment, you have your own bathrooms, and
beautiful apartments.
It's yes.
Just, I mean, we're not talking about a cell block. We're talking about luxury. We're talking about phenomenal location in the heart of Lincoln Park with restaurants, entertainment, shopping. But I love the fact that it's at Lincoln Commons because it is, you've got rental across the street. You have condos that Dan McCaffrey built years ago across the street at the Orchard. You have, it's very inclusive, right? It's not like that's the senior community over there. I mean, it's very much part, all the activities up and down Lincoln Avenue, Fullerton being a major artery, which is very vibrant and also very residential, you know, single family homes. It's a super location.
Yeah, we are so fortunate for the location. It's such a walkable area. You know, the front of the building faces Fullerton, which gives you that city feel, and just the traffic, the foot traffic that comes through is just so engaging for the residents
and DePaul students, and that's what's
And then the side of the building faces Orchard Street, so it's more of that neighborhood feel. And our patio is on that side, and so the residents are always asking to make sure that the bushes are cut down so that they can see their neighbors that are walking by because they've made friends with them, them and their pets, and so it's very important.
Oh, sure.
But you brought up Lincoln Common, and so we opened 5 years ago. That whole area grew up together. DePaul and Northwestern students learned so much from the residents, and the residents, just love being part of what's currently going on in the world and relatable because of their children and grandchildren that are probably going through the same, steps in life.
Do you find your location to be an attribute? Do many of your current residents come from the neighborhood? I know we've moved people from out of town into Belmont Village, Lincoln Park. I know we've moved neighbors, we've moved parents of neighbors, but I don't know everybody that has been moved in.
It's such a variety of all of that. We have individuals who never came to Chicago, but now their family is here. Their adult children are here, and their grandchildren are here, and it's time to, the next step in their life is to be more involved in their lives and be closer. We have individuals who live right around the corner, and then we have individuals who left, and this is where they started and where they grew up, where they raised their families, and they want to come back.
And they want to come back. Yeah. So if a child of a parent who is approaching, or they think it's the appropriate time to start chatting with and researching senior communities, and that loved one, that senior, doesn't happen to live in Chicago, are they welcome to come to the community and tour without their senior and get all the facts from you, or do you prefer the senior see it the first time as well?
No, absolutely. So we really encourage, the adult children are really the ones that are the support system for these, their loved ones, whether it's a parent or another close relative. They're usually the decision makers, the ones that are organizing everything, taking that pressure. It's enough for a senior to have to give up, or what they feel like they're giving up, a lot of things that they're used to. And so they need to go through those emotions and feel those feelings and let their family kind of take control of everything else. So usually what happens is the adult children or someone that is close to that senior tours a couple different places and kind of weeds things out. And when things are really down to where a decision's made between 1, 2, or 3 different places, then the senior comes along because it just can be a lot and overwhelming. So that's typically how it goes. But then you have your seniors that are, in their early 60s, late 60s, really doing their research so that they have a plan for themselves when the time comes.
I love that.
And they're very involved in every step of the tour. So, it just depends on the family. And that's a big part of my and Dina's job, is to really just listen to the families and see what their challenges are, what their needs and wants are for this next step, so that we can help tailor and, make that individual to them.
So it sounds all very copacetic. And I know from experience at times there can be differing beliefs in either the timeline for the loved one, maybe the loved one, the senior, we'll call the senior loved one, that's the person we're really focusing on, maybe is resistant, maybe it's, which can happen, right? Can be challenging, facing a senior community move. They don't do it many times. This is usually the time in their life when they're making this very big transition. What happens if you have differing family opinions? How do you handle that to make sure the senior is honored?
Yeah.
Because when we're brought in, compliments of you to do the complimentary floor plan, to get inside the family's home to discuss, is this a pack and move, or is this 3 weeks of editing prior to the move? So many times we see differing opinions, and I'll just share what I feel. I always say to my clients right in front of the children, you are the boss. Unless the senior says to me, nope, my daughter runs the ship. And you know what? I don't believe that's ever happened. But we love to honor our seniors. And the more I feel we empower them to make decisions, they're very capable of making decisions, more often than not. But there's this thing with children, and it's kind of heartbreaking, because this is heartbreaking enough for the senior, challenging enough, and they don't know that when they've made that move, there's a whole new world for them, right? New activities, new friends around the corner. But it's scary. It's like going to first grade again, like, will anybody talk to me thing? I mean, right? So how do you handle it in your office?
The first thing, and I touched on it a bit, and so did you, is listening to that senior and finding out what is important to them. The adult children want to help in every way that they can, but it's really about what's important to that senior and how can we foster those things that are so important to them. And just building a trust. Building the trust is huge. Sometimes we have to give little gentle touch points to help them focus on the importance of the timeline, real life experiences, sharing them with the real life stories of what other residents that moved in have gone through and how they, navigated through those things. Again, inviting them to the events, inviting them to a meal at the community, because then they can sit with other residents, ask the true questions that maybe they don't want to ask in front of their family,
or maybe in front of you.
Exactly.
Right. I
exactly.
think that's a wonderful opportunity for those who are interested.
So that's usually really big, is coming for a meal, coming for an event. It takes the pressure off of they're just coming to have a good time, and just organically mingling with the residents to see how the first few days might go, and how do I make new friends, and keeping their old friends and keeping pieces of their old life is very important as well. And so ensuring them that we do many things outside of the community, they are able to go with their friends and their friends are able to come and visit. It's their home, just
Totally.
as any other condo
Totally.
would be their home. They can come and go and do those things.
When someone enters Belmont Village Lincoln Park as a resident, the first couple days, do you offer kind of a shadow person, someone to say,
Absolutely.
come on, Mary, let's go for lunch or dinner?
Yeah.
Which would be, I would think.
Perfect. So we have Lena, our sales assistant, is always going to be with them at least for the first week, depending on each individual might need a little bit more to make sure that they're able to navigate the building, that they know who to contact when they need what, you know, what the different roles and functions in the community are of the different
That's
employees. But beyond that, we do have a resident council with a council president, and so we've designated some of our more welcoming and, you know, social individuals to kind of connect
That's nice.
with those. So we'll do, you know, a new resident happy hour and different events like that to kind
that's
of
nice for an
introduce them to-
introduction.
right.
So a soft opening kind of thing for
right.
that.
And then again, you know, Lena's great in helping them get acclimated to the building and the logistics of everything, and actually does know the residents very well. So
sure.
being able to connect each individual with a resident that
Like-minded
she
or
knows they will-
similar interest.
Yes, absolutely.
When I came to your opening, did we say 5 or 6 years ago?
So August will be 6 years.
Okay, 6 years. I was so impressed. I was able to meet Patricia Wells, who started the Belmont Village brand. And I'd love to hear briefly that story because you and I certainly relate, especially through the eyes of our clients, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, Patricia's amazing. I mean, her hands are in Belmont every day doing her magic, but she was in a challenging position looking for some place for her mother-in-law.
And where was he geographically, or where was that? Do you know?
I think Texas.
I thought it was south.
Yeah. And
Ish.
so just, you know, her mother-in-law needed assisted living, but wasn't really ready for memory care, but needed some type of memory support.
Okay.
Her name's Josephine, so all of our dining rooms are Josephine's kitchen.
That's
so
why.
they're named after
Okay, that's too
her
sweet.
mother-in-law. Yes,
That's too sweet.
but needed that cognitive support without being in a secure memory setting and being with like-minded individuals and true peers. And so, you know, Patricia Will worked with. We work with different universities, UCLA, Vanderbilt. There's another USC Davis School of Gerontology who helped design these enrichment programs that we work with college-educated individuals who are really trained to be able to present these programs that focus on the 7 areas of the brain. And so giving the individuals still the freedom of living with our independent and assisted living residents and not in a secure memory setting because they're not a wander risk. They don't need a whole lot of hands-on care, but just need some memory support to keep them where they are for a lot longer. You know, and slow that progression down.
Right. Wonderful.
And so these classes happen, you know, right after breakfast, right up until dinner time. It gives the senior a sense of purpose, a routine, which are sometimes more than not lacking, you know, in their life now. And so having that sense of purpose and having that routine, there's a group of girls that, you know, we just left class. Are we late for happy hour? Like then it,
wonderful.
you know, it brings that bond,
Right, and it creates a
because
community for them.
You're with,
and it keeps them engaged.
right?
Not them. Our seniors who have, which aren't we all having some memory challenges at times?
Exactly.
But to have that community of sharing, and also I love the fact, a schedule, a sense of purpose, a community. That's what it's all about,
and
isn't it?
Being, you know, it's so much about meeting them where they're at, and the groups are small. They'll break off in smaller groups so that they're with individuals that are very much same interests, same level of cognitive decline, so that they're all learning and growing at the same pace. Yeah.
You have many enrichment programs, though, at Belmont Village, don't you? What are some other samplings?
Well, that is really what we're known for. We have, we call it Circle of Friends, everything that I just described. We have your typical secure memory setting, but still very intentional on that programming. The same type of programming, it's just at a different level, meeting the individuals where they're at. We are starting a new sensory program for the individuals we call the neighborhood in our secure memory setting.
Oh, what's that like?
Sensory, sometimes they could be nonverbal,
right?
And or a lot of times revert back to their native language, and so to be able to be stimulated and to communicate this sensory program really helps with all of that. So,
that's wonderful.
yeah.
That's wonderful.
We also hold a shelter care license, so that's different than any of the assisted living and memory cares in the city. That allows us to do more hands-on care, so we are able to do two-person transfer, Hoyer lift transfers, able to support individuals later in their journey, and they usually do not have to go to a skilled nursing. They're able to
really
continue and finish their life with Belmont. So
that's fabulous.
That's comforting to families and to individuals. Again, like I said before, it's their home, so they can bring
as
in
their mobility
any support.
Changes, right?
Yeah, they can bring in any support that makes them comfortable. As that changes.
So you have a more highly skilled group available. Is that consistent throughout all the Belmont villages that I'm aware of in the Chicago area and California? Because I presented to the Belmont Village in Palos Verdes.
It differs state by state as to what the particular licenses are that are out there. But whatever that equivalent is, Belmont definitely tries to obtain that license, because making that move to us in the first place was a big, emotional challenge, a lot of letting go and a lifestyle change. And you don't want to have to do that again. Not when you're not feeling well and you just want peace and rest. And so it's nice that they're able to stay with us and not have to make that move again.
That's really unique, because that's always the fear. Is there going to be another one of these moves ahead?
Right. And that's the other unique thing about Belmont is our independent assisted and that first level of memory care are intermingled together. So couples can move in together, and if they're on different levels of care, they can share the same apartment, receive the individual care that they need, and not have to move every time that level of care changes.
That's really
for a couple
special.
or for an individual. The only time a move has to be made is if that secure setting is needed.
But that must mean that you have even more manpower, because you have just the number of individuals, especially in that kind of split setting, right?
Sure.
I mean, there's got to be a lot of shepherding around and reminder for programs. I mean, it's a lot of responsibility.
We have 24-hour nursing, but I think the stars of the community when it comes to working with the residents are what we call PALs, personal assistant liaisons. So like a nursing assistant.
Sure.
But they're the ones that are getting them up for the day, making sure they're getting whatever help they need to get that day started, showering, dressing assistance, whatever each individual needs, making sure they're getting to breakfast, like you said, learning them and what they like, and making sure they're getting to the activities and the different things happening around the community that they like.
That's huge. How many units at Belmont Village, and what type of units do you offer?
Yeah, so we have the capacity for 149. We have 149 apartments. Now that could mean more individuals if it's couples moving in. We have 6 one-bedroom options, about the same, 6 or 7 studio options, and then 2 two-bedroom options.
Right.
So, the 2-bedroom options are nice for individuals that are coming from big multi-room homes, and they have to take it in these steps, and they may not necessarily need the 2 bedrooms, but it's a comfort level for them to take it in those steps. And then you'll see a lot of times they downsize on their own without any prompting from the family because they're just, we're not using this space, and I'm always out at activities or out of the building doing something, and really it's just a room to sleep.
Well, I see your van around town so often. It always makes me so happy because that means seniors are out and about, and they're not. It's dispelling the myth of I'm going in. You're just basically, like you said earlier, you're basically just moving into a condo with all the support you could possibly need, and that your loved ones are assured they're being well
and then
cared
different
for.
than living in my condo where it's not peers, right?
No,
and so
not
now
peers,
it's
no
peers.
additional help.
Right. And so our residents have lived such enriched lives that should not be stopping now. And so Belmont focuses a lot. We have a wonderful activities coordinator. His name's Connor, making sure that their voices are heard. He always says, I can plan activities all day, but are they going to be things you enjoy? I want to hear what you enjoy.
Okay, for example, what would be some activities this week or within the month of August someone could look forward to?
Always going to see a show. They like to go and see the orchestra, so they'll hear what's happening, and they'll say, Connor, we want to get tickets to this particular show. Can you help us get tickets to the show? Fabulous. And then he'll help them get the tickets, arrange, for the rides and things like that. They go to different restaurants in the neighborhood and try different restaurants as a group, and
so
stepping
Connor
out of
is our concierge. Right. He's the one
Yeah.
that makes it happen and brings ideas forth.
Right.
I want his job.
I know. He does so well at it, though. He's so good. But that also we work really closely together because I'll find the different things in the neighborhood that are happening, and then we work with Connor on how do we bring these to our residents that can't necessarily get out, and then how do we help those that can still be able to get out, connect with their friends. Like you mentioned, we have our bus. We also have a town car. If individuals are comfortable using a Lyft or an Uber, we help them coordinate all of that because they have no problem, using the service, but sometimes coordinating it can be challenging even for me. So, we want to make sure that that's very clear and easy for them.
Jessica, I know that Belmont Village has some unique technology systems. Can you share what those might be?
Sure. So we have probably our most popular, it's a system, Safely You. It's an AI fall detection camera. So it is available in all of our neighborhood apartments, that secure memory setting, because individuals can't always tell us what happened when they fell. And maybe it doesn't warrant a trip to the emergency room.
Sure.
Right? Maybe they bent down to pick something up and fell, on their butt and didn't hit their head, don't need to go, to the ER or anything. So the device is constantly recording, but it doesn't save the recordings until the body falls below a certain level. Okay. And then it records a minute before the fall, or it saves that recording a minute before the fall and a minute after the fall, so that we
it's not
can
like
go back
a spy
and review
cam.
it.
You don't want people to think their parents or loved
there's no
ones
monitors anywhere that anybody's sitting watching.
Yeah.
Again, it's not saving the recordings until that body falls below, and then it automatically alerts the nurses station so that they're able to come immediately and assess. And then if we don't know what happened, we can definitely review that camera and find out how exactly. I mean, some people just get down to pray and can't get back up, and that doesn't. You don't need to go to the emergency room.
Right. That's really interesting.
Yeah. We also work with what we call Wander Guard. So our neighborhood is that secure setting for individuals who might sometimes intentionally, but a lot of times not intentionally, wander out the front door and not really know where they are and how to get back in. But again, not everybody needs that tight of a security, but there are individuals that could wander out the front door and get lost in the neighborhood. And so those individuals are able to hire caregivers or have someone that comes and walks and takes them out
to
on
give
those
them
journeys
freedom.
all the time. Exactly.
Yes, that's important.
But we do have them where it just looks like a watch, and when they get so many feet in front of the front door, an alarm sounds, so that, not aggressive alarm, but quietly enough on our phones and things like that, so that we're able to, protect them before they go too far, and
that's so
get them in the
reassuring.
safe setting and still be able to take that journey out, into the neighborhood.
Very reassuring for the family members.
For sure. And then the other big technology that we work with, it's Tembo Health. It's a virtual doctor. So it's a emergency room doctor or a nurse practitioner live on the other side of a computer screen that the nurse is able to wheel into the resident's room.
Oh, great.
It's not what they use for their primary care,
Right.
but if, there's something going on and you're not able to get in with the primary care in a timely fashion, then, the nurse triages it the best she can, but if she needs support from a doctor, then she's able to do a live visit. If an EKG or blood pressure things need to be done, she's the hands for that doctor.
That's
and
so cool.
Transmits right to them through.
Well, it's a
through there.
telehealth,
So,
really.
yeah.
You represent a phenomenal property and a phenomenal philosophy, right? Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Yeah, I love to share with families about CMFTO. It just, a lot of times they don't know where to start.
Right.
And you can help with that starting point. And, the key for the family and for the individual is to get there and be safe, but to have familiarity. And so you're able to, help them decide what to take and when, and just making it very comfortable. It takes the stress off the family.
Thanks, Jessica, so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
What a great day.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for listening. You can contact Jessica at JROOTE@BelmontVillage.com and learn more at BelmontVillage.com/Chicago. You can follow me on Instagram at CMFTO or check out our website, CMFTO.com, to learn more about my business.